Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy, the Mad Guy again. Up here today, I wanted to talk a little bit about a slightly new streaming service that's come to the UK. I sort of mentioned it in my last video, and that is called Tubi. Now, before I sort of talk about Tubi and what it is and what it's got on there, I just want to sort of address that elephant in the room about streaming services right now. Because, you know, the title of this video is going to be, is Tubi the Netflix killer? And I'm going to be completely honest with you, Netflix at the moment is down. Like, it is down, you know, in the sense of how many people are using it. I've seen a post this morning saying apparently, you know, services like Tubi, Roku, Freevee and Pluto have had more you know, people using that than Netflix and Prime and premium streaming service. And, you know, I'm always a firm believer in, you know, streaming services over live TV, right? Because the whole point of a streaming service was to be able to have these movies and shows on demand. You know, you don't need to worry about ads. You don't need to worry about, you know, what episodes and what shows were on the TV. You know, it was the point of the future, you know, being able to access whatever movies and whatever shows you want in the comfort of your own home. But lately, Netflix has just been under so much fire lately, because it is just extremely, you know, lately the thing is, a lot of the premium streaming services, Netflix, Amazon, Disney, are now offering like cheaper subscription plans with ads. Because yes, I understand that whole concept of, you know, you want something cheaper, you're going to have to watch ads. But at the same time, there's free streaming services that based on ads, and they're completely free. And that brings me to this point of, you know, Netflix is now under a lot of fire now because they've gotten rid of, or they're planning to get rid of, some of the subscription options where you can only have basic with ads or premium. So it's either $4.99 to have ads or like $18.99 with no ads. And yes, I know you get all your 4K and whatever, but to me, $18.99, like nearly £20 for Netflix. And yes, I know Netflix has a lot of good shows, you know, a lot of great originals and things like that. But to me, that is just ridiculous, you know. And, you know, even Amazon, you know, Prime now, and now it's $8.99. But if you want to get rid of the ads, you have to pay an extra $2.99. What is this? You know, we're meant to be moving forward, not backwards. It's like, okay, we need to compete with these ad-based streaming services, so we're offering ads but still charging people for it. And to me, it just doesn't make sense, because now I'm going to be completely honest with you. I think this time next year, you know, in 2025, you know, WWE is coming to Netflix. And, you know, I think that's probably Netflix's biggest acquisition. In fact, it might be the biggest acquisition of all time in terms of streaming services, because, you know, that's huge, right? WWE is this huge company. And obviously it's all to do with trying to bring live sport to Netflix, whereas, you know, Prime has all their live sports and so forth. But to me, that's huge. You know, I've already talked about a video in the past about WWE coming to Netflix and how I think that might change Netflix. I definitely think the price is going to go up, but I still think they should offer a separate subscription through Netflix. So, you know, if it is, and I'm hoping everything that's on the WWE network, because we already know that the WWE network is closing at the end of this year to move to Netflix. So I'm hoping that everything that's on the network and stuff like that will transition in one smooth transition to things. So, you know, I wouldn't care about having to pay a separate fee just for WWE. But in my opinion, how I see it's going to happen, it's literally going to be, you need a Netflix subscription And it will probably be like Netflix Premium with WWE. So it'll probably be like 25, maybe £30, which is fair enough because WWE Network is already £10 at the moment anyway, and it always has been. And that's one thing I can't complain about with WWE Network is it's never gone up. It's always stuck at $9.99. Yeah. Oh no. But I'm going off on a tangent here. Back to what I was originally saying. So yes, we've had Pluto and Roku and Plex and all of these free streaming services. But then obviously Amazon made Freevee, which again was to compete with that concept of, you know, having free streaming services with ads. And again, the good thing about Freevee is you can either use it through Prime. If you've already got a Prime account, you don't need to have actual Amazon Prime. You can still use the Prime app and use Freevee, or you can just download the Freevee app. But not every TV or whatever has Freevee. I have to use it through Prime, and I actually watched something on Freevee last night through Prime, and it worked fine. You know, there were some shows that had some ads, some didn't. But anyway, going back to Tubi, you know, starting off with like the launch, it has nearly 20,000 movies and episodes on there compared to Netflix's 5,000. Yeah, a paid for streaming service with a quarter of what a free streaming service has. Now, yes, I know Netflix probably has, and Prime and all of this probably have more well-known movies and things like that, but I've gone through Tubi quite a bit, and it has a great selection of movies. You know, it's got some good movies on there. Some of my favourites actually. Kill Bill's on there. Happy Gilmore's on there. It's got a great horror section actually. There's hundreds of horror movies, whereas Netflix and has a shit horror selection. I'm so sorry, Netflix, but your horror section has been shit for a long time. You know, and even like Paramount and things like that. But I was actually really impressed with Tubi's horror selection. And yes, I know they're not like top tier horror films, but that's what I like, you know. And it sort of begs the question, you know, Tubi is actually really good. Like in America, I think it has like nearly 240,000 episodes and movies, which is insane, man. That's a lot of hours of movies and TV shows. And it's owned by Fox. So, because I've just seen that they added the Marvel Runaways to that as well, which is, you know, Fox and Disney. So it just seems to me like, in many ways, I think Tubi is kind of like Disney's answer to Freevee, basically, in my opinion. I know it's probably got a bit more to it than that, but in my opinion, that's insane. You know, it's a great selection, and it's a huge launch, and I've used it quite a few times, and actually I'm impressed with the load times. There's not really been any problems with it. The only thing that I would say is that I've noticed is sometimes the rating is sometimes stuck in the corner, so it would say TV PG-13R because it is in American ratings, not English ratings for some reason. And sometimes that doesn't go away. It is, you can just sort of zone out, but it is, once you notice it, it can be a bit annoying. Sometimes it will disappear after an ad, sometimes it will stay there, I don't know. I'm not too sure, so it might be a bug. But the ads themselves, I wouldn't even call them ads. They're literally like 15, maybe 30-second promos for the other movies and shows that are on Tubi. And to be honest, that's fine. You know, it's still much better from what I've heard. You know, Netflix, I haven't used Netflix Basic at all. I have no plans to use Netflix Basic, because it just, to me, it just doesn't really seem like a good deal that I'm having to pay and still have ads. Even Prime pisses me off, that you have to pay for Prime and then still have to pay an extra £3 to get rid of the ad, which is ridiculous. Why should I do that? You know, the whole point of a streaming service, a premium streaming service, is to get rid of ads, to be able to watch shows without any interruptions, right? But it brings me the question of, you know, Tubi has just a great selection, and it's only going to get bigger. And now I don't know the whole demographics on how long the movies and TV shows stay on there for, if they're only on there for so much out, if the licensing runs out or whatever. But even so, like, it's so minute, and actually the ads sometimes don't even come up either. I watched a whole 2-hour film the other day. What's it? The Internship, the one with Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn working at Google, and that was a 2-hour film, and it had no ads. There was no ads whatsoever, and I'm like, the whole 2-hour film on a free service with no ads? That's insane. And even last night when I was watching Freevee on through Prime, I was watching Dick Van Dyke Show. Some of the episodes had ads. I think I watched maybe 3 or 4 episodes, and only one episode that I watched had some ads. The rest didn't. So, but when you watch Netflix or Prime with ads, the ads are constant. YouTube's the worst for ads, but that's a whole different story anyway. But it just goes to show that I think Netflix are kind of shaking in their boots a little bit, because a free streaming service is putting them to shame. And I think more and more people are cancelling their Netflix, especially because of this new, thing that they've done, where it's literally you either pay to have ads or you pay not to have ads. Either way, you're going to have to pay out. And I think if I was to recommend a free streaming service for people, I'd say Tubi is probably the best one that's available right now. Freevee and Pluto are still pretty decent. I noticed with Pluto, though, the ads are quite a bit longer. They're more like what I would consider like TV break ads, where they can be a couple of minutes sometimes. But Freevee was still pretty decent, and I think Tubi is fantastic. I've used it about 3 or 4 times already, and I'm going to be using it again tonight. I've watched some good films on there. Happy Gilmore was on there, and that's like one of my favourite films. Love that film to pieces. And the fact that I only had a few ads through it, they're probably like, sometimes, like I said, it doesn't, and the best part about it, it'll actually tell you when there's an ad break. It will sum up saying ad break in 10 seconds or whatever. And like I said, it's like a 15, maybe 30-second promotion for another show or movie on there. And like I said, it's got a great selection of everything. It's got everything from your standard, your comedy, horror, AAA films, your low-budget films. It's got foreign films like Bollywood and Najar, which I think is African. And it's got things like some TV shows as well on there. It's got a lot of documentary TV shows on there, some good selection of kids stuff as well. It even had Little Bear on there, which was a TV show that I remember from my childhood. I'm like, wow, I've never seen this on anything. And that brought back, I haven't watched it, but I just seen it and I thought, oh my god, that brought back a lot of memories. And it even has anime on there as well. It's got things like Yu-Gi-Oh! And stuff on there, which is awesome, right? If you like anime. I know, yes, we got Crunchyroll and stuff, but even so, I think, I think out of all of the streaming services right now, I think Tubi is on the rise. Which, I am a little bit worried that it might get too big for its boots at one point, and as it grows, it might start adding more ads and things, but whatever. If it does, it does, right? But, I think for a free streaming service, it is insane. And I think, I believe, Fox, Rupert Murdoch has already sort of come out and said, this is what we've been using this in America for a long time, and people are really happy with it because we believe that, this sort of way of watching TV is great. And I agree, it is a great way to watch movies and TV in the comfort of your own home without needing to worry about spending, hundreds of pounds a year on streaming services or DVDs or whatever it is you buy. And again, I think Tubi might just be probably one of the best streaming services at the moment in terms of just sheer amount of content that it has on there. It is a lot of content, and it's only going to grow. Like I said, I don't know the demographics of how long these shows and movies stay on there for. It's been out in the UK for about 2 weeks now, give or take. And I've not had any problems with it at all. And I'm very impressed with Tubi. And I think it is could potentially be a game changer. And I think, Netflix really need to sort of buck their ideas up a little bit because, and I use the word Netflix, I don't really talk a lot about Prime or Disney because I've not really, I still think Disney Plus is still great value. I think it's gone up to like $8.99 now, or it's either $8.99 or $10.99 now. But I still think Disney has a great selection because you've got some big names on there, Star Wars, Simpsons, Fox. So it's a great selection. But even the fact that, this is owned by Fox, I think some of those stuff that's on Disney will move to Tubi or will be available on Tubi. So even some of those shows that are on Disney, so don't be expecting like Star Wars or nothing like that. But, Marvel Runaways was added on there, and I'm not 100% sure if that's actually on Disney Plus, and that's Marvel. I don't know the company that made Marvel Runaways, whether it was Disney or not, that side of Marvel. But even so, that's pretty awesome, right? I might be able to quickly show you how the actual app looks on the TV. Now, I believe it is available on pretty much most streaming, most apps, phone, iPhone, iOS, Android, Amazon, and Samsung TVs. Mine's a Samsung TV. I don't know how well you'll be able to see this, but sorry if it's a bit backwards because of the way my phone is. But as you can see, it's got a good selection of... Oh, shit. I don't want to watch that. Even that's a sort of thing. Ad break there. It's an ad break there. But as you can see, you've got tons of categories. Sorry if it's backwards, but you've got loads of different things on here. And even if I just move to the horror section, right now, I'm just going to show you just how many horror films there are. And there are a lot of horror films. I mean, there are some great ones on here that I've just seen. Puppet Master, Curse of Puppet Master, Children of the Corn, Basket Case as well. Some of these films are on like Arrow as well, which is a separate streaming service. Sharknado, I know that one's big. I even watched the Blood and Honey the other day. The Winnie the Pooh thing, Blood and Honey, and that was actually it wasn't that great, but just because of the what do you call it, the concept alone, right? Free from Hell, Creep Show 2, Jeepers Creepers, Night of the Living Dead. So this is just a great section of horror films, and this is just the horror films, and it's still going. Classics, Little Shop of Horrors, right there. That's a classic. You look, and it's still going. It's still going. I still haven't hit the bottom. I watched Candyman the other day, the original Candyman, which I'm not gonna lie. I think the newer one was actually really good. I did like the original, but I think Z Nation is on here as well, which is another show that I know a lot of people like. And it's still going. Puppet Master 2. I love the original Puppet Master. 1, 2, and 3 are the best. And it's still going. It's still going. I'm still going. Mystery Science Theater. That's a funny show as well. Show, film, whatever. And it's still going. Look, again, I still haven't hit the bottom. And that just shows how many films are on here. When I say there's 200,000 shows and movies on here, I don't think they're lying. I think there might literally be that many. And it's still going. And this just shows to you, like, this is nearly like level that you would get from like Shudder or something. Nearly 600. And I've reached the bottom now. So I can guarantee you there was probably about 300 to 400 horror movies just there alone, right? But it just goes to show that, these streaming, that it is really good. And, I think it just goes to show, right? I think it is probably it could potentially be one of my favourite streaming services right now. because of just the sheer amount of content that's on it. And yes, it is ad-based, but the ads are so minute, you don't even realise. Compared to Netflix that charge you for their ads, and apparently their ads are non-stop. But anyway, guys, I just thought I'd share with you about Tubi. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like and comment below. Let me know what you guys think about free streaming services, and let me know what you think about just premium streaming services right now, because I definitely think premium streaming services are on the low. They are losing a lot of subscribers because the prices go up and people don't like that. But then you do stupid shit like go, oh, we're going to put ads in our shows, and if you want to get rid of those ads, you need to give us a little bit more money. And people are like, if I'm going to have ads in my shows or movies, I'm just going to go to a free streaming service. So my recommendation is check Tubi out, especially if you're in the UK right now, because it's quite big. But if you're in America, I think it's even bigger. And I don't know how it works with VPN, so if you have a VPN, you might be able to get access to the American version. I don't know. I don't know what other countries it's available in. I think it's only available in US, Canada, and the UK right now, so I don't know about European countries and the rest of the world. So you might need to use a VPN for that. But nonetheless, as always, guys, subscribe if you haven't already, and join the family. I'm probably going to have a bit of a chill one. I'm going to pop out in about an hour or so. Probably going to play a bit of Red Dead today. I'm still making progress on Red Dead 2. Having a great time with it. Love me some Red Dead 2. And yeah, and let me know again. Tubi, I give it I think Tubi, for me, almost a 5-star streaming service right now. Again, I'd probably give it maybe a 4-star, because there are still a few things on there that other streaming services have, but nonetheless, it is great. I think the slight thing that I think could be improved is they do need some more TV shows on there. The TV shows that I've gone through at the moment are mainly like kids shows, animes, and a lot of documentary stuff. But I'm hoping we'll get some more comedy and classic TV shows, like, you know, some shows that aren't on other streaming services like Happy Days or Who's the Boss, Charles in Charge, those sort of classic sitcoms. I'm still would love to see Happy Days be added to a streaming service. I think it was Paramount, because we only ever got 6 DVDs of Happy Days, season 1 to 6. Yeah, I know. Oh, we jumped the shark. What can they do after that? But that's a show that I would love to see come to a streaming service, and I think Tubi would be a great place for it. And as always, guys, subscribe if you haven't already, and join the family. And I will see you in the next video. I'm not sure what it will be yet, but I might do some videos to do with games, as I talked about in the last video. And as always, have a nice day, and I'll see you in the next video.